So, okay, we're going anyways.
We're rolling?
Yeah, we're
All
going.
right. Let's get into it.
Have you seen those new, I don't even know if they're new anymore, the Springfield Hellcat?
Yeah.
Thought about buying one.
Yeah, I was going to sell you last year, remember?
Yeah, well, the new ones have the knockout
Yep.
for the RMR.
Yeah.
Right, essentially. I didn't know if you had... Yeah, I remember the one... Do you still have that one?
No.
Yeah. You see this?
Yeah.
How they got the knockout for them already? Yeah, I was thinking...
It's kind of nice when they come like that, you know?
Yeah, because you don't have to slide out and have it,
machined out and, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was pretty slick.
Yeah.
That one's got a compensator on it.
Nice little pistol.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Which one's that?
Ooh.
What's that? What does that say? The new Hellcat Pro.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
so they did an
okay.
upgrade on that one. All right.
Ah,
Huh. That might be worth going and taking a
Hellcat
look
Pro, huh? I'm glad I looked down there.
Yeah. Yeah, doing a little gun shopping while we're talking here.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, they made some upgrades to them in the last couple years.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, that milled out slide is really nice. A lot of manufacturers now are coming that way. With the, the milled slide has become a real popular feature on them.
Now a lot of people are using those sights, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I think it's a couple $100 to send your slide out to have it milled. So the fact that they come that way.
Yeah.
15 plus 1.
It's good self-defense gun right there, you know.
Yeah. Huh. So I don't know.
It's a good shooter. I like Springfield, you know.
I've never shot a Hellcat, but...
Yeah, it shoots real nice. I shot that one quite a bit. I was going to trade the Glock.
What's new?
You know, I haven't gotten to dig into media real deep this week. It was a real busy week. My brain's a little spongy. I've caught some headlines here and there, but...
Anything good?
It's kind of the normal stuff that's going on in the universe.
I haven't got too deep into anything either.
Yeah, it's just been a busy week for me. I've seen the Americans down in Mexico that got shot up. I've seen that.
What was that about?
Apparently they came out of, I think, Tennessee, and they went down there. They were going to get some medical procedures done. Like, I don't know, butt lift or something, or medication. They weren't clear exactly on which it was, but two of the people, last I knew, 2 of the 4 died. One was in critical condition and one was unharmed. So, yeah, they crossed over and from Texas, I think it was, and they were barely across the border when it happened. So at first,
into Mexico or into the U.S.
Into Mexico. Yeah, they were going down for either medication or to have a medical procedure done. They weren't in Mexico very long, and they said they ran through, the drug cartel had a checkpoint set up, and they blew through it. So they don't know if they were actually targeted because they were Americans, or if it was the drug cartel thought it was, people smuggling dope for a different cartel or something. I don't know. It was very unclear exactly what happened, except 2 people were dead. One was in critical condition and one's uninjured.
What happened with the Tucker Carlson release of January 6th?
He's still releasing them. I mean, that would be a good one to kind of dig into. Like, I mean, anyone that believes that this was an insurrection now, like, you want to believe that narrative. Those videos completely demolish that argument. I'm not saying there wasn't some violence and some rioting and bad behavior. Sure there was. And anyone that was, destroying property and just being a butthead, hey, you deserve what you get, I guess. But there is tons of video of these people going through the Capitol, staying within the
velvet ropes.
Yeah, the velvet ropes. Yeah. I mean, absolutely respecting the building. Just...
Yeah,
and then you see, my favorite person right there. Like, I hate this guy.
I was shocked when I saw him.
He sickens me, man. He was one I complained about when one of the viewers, one of our viewers brought up why I always pick on Nancy Pelosi or the liberals, and I said, well, I'll do Republicans too. Like, those establishment Republicans make me sick. He's one of them, Mitch McConnell, useless, comes out bitching and complaining that, Tucker's given, you know what I mean? They don't want people to have the information, the truth. They don't want you to be able to make up your own mind about what happened. They want to control the narrative, whether it's vaccine, efficacy of masks. It doesn't matter, all of it. January 6th, they don't want you to have any information. All of a sudden, it's like this bad thing. People getting information, since when in the hell has that ever been a bad thing? Like, that's a great thing. Put it out there. The truth will surface. Let people make up their own mind. Why is that so evil? And it's because these guys have power and they're afraid to lose it, And this shows just how much the Republicans and the Democrats are the same. They're all, like I said before, they'll get on the Senate floor and they'll argue, and then the minute the cameras are shut off and the journalists leave, they go out and they have steak dinners together and drink their expensive whiskey and wine, and they all play golf together. It's a scam.
Well, you said why not let all the information out there and let people decide, because then they don't control the narrative.
Exactly.
And that proves it right there. That his statement right here, it was a mistake, Mitch McConnell. It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official in the Capitol describes, McConnell said.
Wow. And what shocked me the most was it didn't even shock me. When he came out against this and against Tucker Carlson, against Fox News, against the truth being, shown to people, whether it's Twitter files or, you know what I mean? Like, it's all anti-Musk, anti-Tucker because they're putting the truth out. They're giving out the real information and letting you see for yourself. And these people, these 100-year-old people in our government, like, okay, I'm not gonna start dropping a bunch of F-bombs and stuff like I did last week. I apologize for that. I got a little triggered. I'll keep my composure better this week, but these people sicken me. I want the truth out there. I love the fact that they're dumping all this data. Let us see the video. Yeah, because that shaman being led around by all the police opening doors for him and shit, man, that really didn't fit the narrative of,
I haven't seen the videos myself.
Yeah, it's some pretty good video. And I guess there's a bunch more that's getting ready to be dumped that's really gonna hurt these guys. Like, you got people that's locked up in solitary confinement for 2 years for trespassing. Like, this is ridiculous. They're not terrorists. For Chuck Schumer or all these other idiots that's been in the government way too long. Oh, this is the worst attack, Biden, this is the worst attack since 9/11. Come on.
If they really thought that's what it was, you don't think they wouldn't have had the National Guard on the ground there.
Right.
The people need to start asking
Which
questions
I
like
guess,
that.
from my understanding, Trump requested, and Pelosi waved all the extra security off. They wanted this to happen. They wanted this so that they could call it a insurrection against the government and to scare people that, MAGA people are a bunch of hateful, racist, white supremacist, homophobe people that want to burn the government down. And there was some bad people there, no doubt. But you know what? And it's not even an insurrection. It's a Fedsurrection. Let's be honest about it.
That's what I was just going to ask is how many feds were there saying, get in there.
Yeah.
How many feds were breaking the windows, agitating people?
I am so tired of the FBI, this corrupt ass organization, going into these areas and whipping people up into a frenzy and just like antagonizing people to do stuff like this.
And they supposedly, from what I've heard, they've done this on the left too. Mm-hmm. They'll incite violence, start smashing.
Yeah, well, I mean, at first I thought, wow, man, they're really in league with the Democratic Party, but no, I think what they try to justify themselves by creating these situations that, well, you need the FBI to, infiltrate these groups and, make sure Governor Whitmer doesn't get kidnapped, which there would have been no kidnapping plot against Governor Whitmer if it wasn't for the FBI.
By controlling the images,
so I wonder if January 6th would have even happened if it wasn't for these feds that were, Ray Epps.
They controlled how the public understood that day.
I love the video of him screaming, "We're going to the Capitol. We need to storm the Capitol." And everyone started shouting, "Fed, Fed, Fed." Even the people in the group knew he was a Fed. He doesn't go to jail. But some Mima that, walked through there, stayed within the velvet ropes, waving her little American flag. She's in solitary confinement, really?
Yeah, I just want to know how many of these people
they created a pretext
were
for a federal
agitators
crackdown on opponents
that
of the
were
Uniparty
just there with the sole purpose to whip people up into a frenzy and get them to do something that you could say
the first thing you
could paint in a bad light.
And what's sad is they took the bait, though.
They were dumb.
They should have known. They should have been like
hundreds and hundreds.
And that's what I said. Some of them people they were yelling when the Ray Epps was when he was telling people let's go, and they were yelling Fed, Fed, Fed. They knew. So there were people there that knew better.
But the overwhelming majority weren't. They were peaceful. They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists.
Yeah, very interesting. I can't wait to see the rest of this footage that gets dumped. Like
Vice, even that was 2 years ago. Oh,
but and then the cover up, right? The destroying evidence that they were involved, and like once the government's destroying evidence, and they were eavesdropping on the prisoners talking to their client or their attorneys. So you have the attorney-client confidentiality, right? And they were eavesdropping to see how they were going to
improving over 1,000 miles of our energy
so that
grid
they could
every
get
year.
ahead of it. Like, you got to mistrial
Consumers
all these
Energy.
people now. They
A
should
force
be
for
released.
you. A force of
instantly.
change.
And you know what? And if some of them people
Director
did break
Ray,
windows,
does
you
the
gotta let them go
FBI
anyways. Shame on you
have
for
confidential human
entrapment.
sources?
let's see what this guy says.
Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when.
Even now, because that's what you told us 2 years ago.
May I finish? About when we do and do not, and where we have and have not used confidential human sources. But to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's categorically false.
Did you have confidential human
That's not what he
sources
asked.
dressed
Yeah.
as Trump supporters inside the Capitol?
Just think about what he said there for a minute. Did any of our people organize January 6th? That's not what he said.
Right.
He completely listen to that again.
Yep.
Listen how
For
he words it.
example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's category.
Yeah.
That's
Well, they
native.
tried to blame the Proud Boys, but then I heard a report that there was a bunch of FBI informants.
Did you have
and agents
confidential
that
human
infiltrated
sources
the
dressed as
Proud
Trump
Boys.
supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should
in
be a
what I-
no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol. on
Gentleman's
January
time
6th.
has
You
expired.
should not read anything into my decision
Mr.
not to share information
Director Ray,
confidentially.
gentleman's time has expired.
You know what? And then even they said in the report that there was nothing that they found where the Proud Boys organized and orchestrated any of this insurrection crap. So this whole narrative is crap. You know what? If you would have had a dozen guards standing in front of that place with an M16 and a plate carrier, that would have never happened. That would have never happened. They wanted it to happen.
You almost get that feeling sometimes, don't you?
Mhm.
Just the way it went down, the lack of
Yep.
policing.
And it's all about voters, getting them voters to turn out against Trump. MAGA people are white supremacists, they're homophobes, they're bigots, they're racist. They hate trans people, they hate everybody. Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the people were upset,
Yeah.
and they were convinced.
That the election was stolen. The election, you know what? Was there cheating? Sure, there was cheating. You know what? The Republicans would cheat too. That they're all a bunch of corrupt ass pieces of crap. But, do I believe that the election was stolen? No, I think
just-
that there was a very anti-Trump vote that,
I just don't know what they thought they were going to accomplish by
Right.
storming in there. You weren't going to change the election result.
No, man, come on, man. You're going to overthrow the government. Not one person in there had a gun. They ain't kill anyone.
Right.
It was one innocent person, the girl that got, shot. Where's the outrage for that?
Yeah.
This cop outright just executed her for nothing. She didn't have no gun or no weapon. Because she's white? Had she been a black person?
No, it's It's
You know what? It probably would have been because it would have been Republican, right? So yeah, you're right.
There was no outrage because
Because look at how they treated the guy down in Georgia that shot at the cops, and they returned fire and killed him. Right? Them people that were down there in the woods, Antifa group or whatever. There's all kinds of outrage about that, and he shot at the cops. Like he shot a cop, and they returned fire and killed him, and there was outrage. But this girl crawling through a window, you know what I mean? Like that cop should be in prison forever doing that. Because I don't care what color you are or what political party you're affiliated to. Like, cops shouldn't be executing people.
they're fine with it as long as the authorities
Right.
are executing the people they don't
Yeah.
agree with, then they're fine with it.
And then, they claimed about the officer that was killed during the January, because he was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. They got video now of him walking around. He was fine. He had a stroke the next day.
Yeah.
He was not killed by protesters or, whatever they want to call them, rioters. I mean, there was some bad people down there. And you know what? If you were breaking windows and, tearing up the people's house and you go to jail, well, I mean, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand.
Peacefully
That's why I
protest.
wonder how many,
But I seen video of Ray-Ups pulling a barricade down and telling people. So, and what they said was people further back in the group, they didn't know. You know what I mean? You're a couple thousand people behind and just the group's moving that way and you're just kind of going with the flow and you're going through the house, you're taking selfies. You've seen people taking brochures, like, the tour brochures and stuff. And come on, these guys are not trying to overthrow the government or anything.
Right.
Well, why are you arresting these people?
narrative.
narrative because Antifa's been burning the country down for 3 years now. Where's all those arrests? You know, what about when they burnt the guard post down on the White House lawn or the church across the street, or when they burnt down different federal buildings, different police stations with cops in there? You know, no arrest made, no arrest made. Well, you know, we got to let them kind of, these are people without a voice. We got to, you know.
Or they're in areas that had prosecutors that were elected with a certain leaning, right?
Right. That were funded by George Soros.
So they
and,
get,
you know.
they get probation.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad, you know, fiery but mostly peaceful protests. I'll never forget that. And the whole city's burning behind them, you know. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the lying and the corruption. I don't care who's in office. Whoever gets, you know, the votes, and fine, let the better person win. Like, I respect the presidency on either side. Like, you know, if my guy that I want to win loses, fair enough. He lost. Either run again, run a better campaign, get a better candidate next time around. We'll get you the next time. You know, I'm good with that. What I'm not good with is the manipulation of everybody constantly through social media. Through they got reports now that even on Twitter, they knew that some of this information was truthful. They admitted that it was truthful, and they suppressed it anyways because it could create vaccination hesitancy. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, this should never be tolerated. Whether you're liberal, conservative, right wing, left wing, all Americans should agree on this.
It's amazing how fast the left became authoritative.
Yeah. They were supposed to be against this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got Antifa fighting for big pharma, big government, you know, Amazon and Walmart and all these giant corporations. How did that happen? You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be anti-fascist. Like, not
supposed to be anti-establishment.
Yeah.
Right? Anti-authoritarianism, right? Like, you're supposed to...
Where it all started with, you know, Occupy Wall Street and stuff like that. And now
supposed to be free, you know, not... You know, it's just so...
Upside down.
Amazing. Yeah, it's so amazing how... Yeah, it's like the right used to be for censorship, right? Video games, explicit language labels on rap albums, you know, and shit, right?
Well, I mean, Democrats were too. Wasn't Tipper Gore that was against a bunch of them, you know, wanted...
It still seems like the Christian right was more against, you know, Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, sure, you know. Being desensitized of, you know, with violent video games and, you know.
Yeah, it seems like they were, and the left was like, no, you know, the government doesn't have a right to tell me what to do, right?
Right.
My body, my choice, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden,
it's about
they
power,
became
man.
the authority.
Yeah.
You know, if we tell you to wear a mask, you're going to wear a mask, you know? We're going to tell you to do this one thing and another and a third, you're going to do it or you're not going to have a job, right?
Right. You can't go to work. You can't feed your kids.
It's amazing.
You deserve to have your kids taken away from you and you should be thrown in prison. You know, like...
It's amazing how that narrative flipped.
It was one of, I can't remember who said it now. I caught it a couple days ago, a clip of one of the Dems saying that, you know, releasing this information, this should be, what Tucker's doing right now should be illegal. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
That right there...
That's scary.
That right there should, worry people. It should make people think, why? Why?
Right.
You know.
So, you know, I got called out a little bit for our video last week because of the Ukraine war. And, you know, I said, hey, I haven't heard what this war is really about. Like, okay, so I'm going to break this down a little bit because, you know, I got made fun of. I haven't been paying attention for the last 13 months. I've heard a lot of excuses for this war. I haven't heard a lot of real justification for it. And if you know, other than, oh, well, you know, Russia invaded the Ukraine and Russia's authoritative, and, you know, look at our country right now. Look at our country right now. We just spent 20 years in the Middle East. Like, I have bought into these crappy narratives for war. Whether it was Republicans and Democrats, both sides have talked me into, yeah, this is just, we need to do this, you know. And I've been lied to so many times throughout my life, it's made me very hesitant to, just because CNN says, you know, well, Russia bad, and, you know, they did something bad, and now we need to fight this war, to just jump into this narrative, especially when I see it's escalating. This isn't, in my belief, we're going to move beyond a proxy war into straight up conflict with maybe multiple countries, Russia, China. There's no shortage of people in the world that hate us. And I don't want my kids getting killed or just having to live through a nasty, brutal war for profits. And to me, that's kind of what it seemed like more than anything. Like, I don't want people in the Ukraine to die. Okay, so I want to be clear about that. I feel bad for the civilians that's in war zones around the world. But you know what? I feel bad for the people in Africa getting their arms cut off with machetes from other rival gangs. Like, there's violence all around the world. Look at what the drug cartels are doing in Mexico right now to the people down there. You know, this isn't just the Ukraine. So anyone that says, "Oh, you know, the poor people in the Ukraine, and we gotta help these people," okay, it's noble, but what about all the other people around the world that's suffering from violence?
The people right here in our own country, they're
People
suffering.
here in our own country. There are people right now sitting in solitary confinement for trespassing, guys, for trespassing. We as a people, we have to be better than this. So anyone that, you know, if you are pro-war and all this crap about the Ukraine, all I'm saying is just step back and just ask some questions about it. Where's the money going? What's it being spent on? You know, where's the accountability? Don't just go with the narrative blindly, whether it's Republican narrative or Democratic narrative. It doesn't matter, you know.
That further perplexes me how Republicans now are saying war bad, Democrats are saying no, war good.
And it was always backwards, right?
Right. Again, it further perplexes me, like how
did that happen?
Where this shift happened.
Yeah.
Right, because you're talking about the Bush era, right? And Cheney and war, right?
Right. You know, Liz Cheney's on, you know, this committee for the 9/11, the January 6th insurrection, you know. Bush burned me, man. That war in the Middle East, all over the Middle East, I really felt cheated and lied to, because, you know, I was waving the American flag, the patriotic, oh my God, we got attacked, and, you know, we gotta go kick some ass now.
Right.
And it went really rapidly from punishing the people that were involved to a 20-year-long war. And now I'm looking at this Ukrainian war, and it's like we've already spent in 2 years more in the Ukraine than we did in the Middle East in 20 years. Like, this is a problem. Ask some questions, man. You know, having the ability to think for yourself. If you want to leave comments in here and call me an idiot, go ahead. You know, I'd rather be an idiot that asks questions than a sheep that just, you know, follows.
Well, what I don't understand is I'm not allowed to have opinion that war is bad.
Right. You're gonna call me an idiot for that?
Like,
tell me I'm wrong. You know what I mean? And none of them comments. I didn't see anyone lay out what the war's really about and why we have to fight this. How is it Russia invading Ukraine and taken Kyiv, or however you pronounce it, you know, it used to belong to Russia, I guess. How does that directly affect the U.S.? Show me where it's going to weaken our country, and this is a war that we have to fight. And then I would say, well, then let's not have the proxy war. Let's just have the war, you know? Like, I don't know. This whole, I just see, like, you're screwing around with the potential of instigating a nuclear war. For what? Tell me in the comments, guys. If I'm wrong, yeah, I'll eat it. I'll eat it and say, okay,
I mean,
I'm
you
wrong.
have right to opinion that war is bad. I mean,
Yeah, I just think,
you can say, like, hey, I don't agree with
young
this.
people
feel
being-
bad for the people.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people that's in the war zones, that their families busted up and their homes are destroyed, and you know, now they're living in camps. You know, I feel bad for the soldiers that's got to fight this shit. Like,
What I want to know is, say Russia went in there, we didn't intervene, they took over. What changes in the average Ukrainian's life day to day?
from my understanding, there were people in Ukraine that wanted Russia to, like.
Well, I'm just wondering, like,
would it have been a better? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm like. Would Russia make a bunch of changes in Ukraine, or would they just remove the government and be like, you can, you know, you still go to work and go to school every day just like you were? Just
You're just gonna pay us taxes instead of.
yeah, I don't know. I wonder.
I don't know.
What Russia's goal was once they took over.
And you can't, you know what I mean? There's so much propaganda flying back and forth now. Like you can't know. No one's allowed to talk. No one's allowed to have conversations anymore. And this is the problem with that. This is why I don't care if people think I'm an idiot or not, but like, I want to have conversations. I want to have debates, you know, and this is why you need that stuff, because when you don't have that, you have a narrative that's painted for you.
I don't know why you wouldn't put. The only reason I would assume someone would just put idiot is because they just put the Ukraine flag in their bio because they were told to, and they really don't know why they're doing it. They just know that their side says this war good, so I'm just gonna go. Otherwise,
I'm a sheep, like, and I'm gonna follow the leader.
Right. It seems like they'd go in there and have a conversation, like, hey, actually, you know, my opinion is if we don't help them, you know, it could lead to this, and
because I admit I was a little upset and a little heated in it, but like, I'm willing to have the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine. You know, if you want to lay out an argument, you know, why you think it's good. I mean, you're still entitled.
I'm gonna read it. Yeah, and I'm gonna read it, and honestly, I'm gonna fairly entertain it.
Yeah.
The whole idea of this
not
was
to have an
personal
argument,
growth, right?
Not to have an argument.
Because I'm not always right about everything. You're not always right. We struggle a lot when we do these recordings. Like, people have seen us in real time change our mind during the recording of this, even, you know, because we want to talk about hard, complicated issues. You know, that was the whole point of it. The journey, you know.
Right.
So I want the war to end. You know, I don't want our children and our grandchildren stifled with debt for a war that we didn't even have to fight. You know, and in all honesty, like I said, I don't know, to a couple months ago, I think I said it on the show. Us getting involved in this, I mean, how long would this war have lasted had we not? Have we made it better? Do the people in Ukraine have a better life now because we're sending tanks and F-16s and billions of dollars there, or have we just made this war worse? You know, like, I don't know. They're good questions, though, and these are the questions that every American should be asking. You know, don't just blindly follow anyone, whether it's Biden, Trump, DeSantis. I don't give a shit who it is. Just ask questions.
Yeah, it's easier just to blindly follow, though, right?
Sure.
Just be part of that group.
Well, yeah,
my side says we're doing this, so we're just doing this. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to understand why.
We both have done that, fallen, especially when we were younger, for the talking points of you know, different parties that. And it's easy, right?
Yeah,
you
it is easier.
The keywords they you know, they give you for talking points, and you just start regurgitating the shit that you heard on CNN or even Fox News, and you don't have to do the work to formulate your own opinion. You know, it's work.
Did you see this thing about these inflatable tanks?
No. An
Just-
inflatable tank? I mean, I seen,
Yeah,
was it
I
during
didn't
World
know.
War II? I think they had put a bunch of them out in fields to trick the enemy that we had more tanks than we did, I think.
I just caught something. I was literally walking by the TV
Wow.
last night, and I seen, I had saw this.
That's crazy looking. Should bring that up so everyone can see it. Here. Yeah, I bet you it's the same thing. It's just psychological warfare, you know.
Yeah, from a distance, I guess. It's shitty.
Yeah, when a drone's flying over or something, or, you know, satellites just picking up some images over there. There's some propaganda for you. Yeah. But think about the psychological impact that would have on soldiers across the field from that, seeing a bunch of that there. And they got 300 tanks in that field. You know, we're not going to attack this area. And most of it's just balloons. Yeah, I believe it was in World War II that we used that tactic of inflatable tanks. They were fake.
Let's see what this one says here.
Doesn't surprise me we're still doing it though, honestly.
Hey, RVers! Any way you explore, explore
Commercials.
protected. With
Yeah, I didn't
Progressive,
even.
a leader in
I was literally
RV
walking by the
insurance.
TV and I saw an inflatable tank. I'm like, what? Then I didn't have time to stop and what they were saying. Are they gonna talk in this one or just?
Man, and it bleeds pretty fast, don't it?
Yeah. I thought they were gonna talk about it.
Dang. That thing inflates as fast as my air mattress for camping.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, if you were across the
Obyčejným
field,
pohledem, pokud nemám v ruce dalekohled, tak už z
Je.
nějakých 150-200 metrů nejsem schopný rozlišit pouhým okem, jestli se jedná o skutečnou techniku nebo o náhodou.
I mean, I get it. Like, if you can get people to not fight, that's even better. One of the stories I was reading in, I think it was during, it was either in Afghanistan or Iraq, but they had a big green light that they were shining across a battlefield, and as they would illuminate someone, they would start constricting the light, and it would get smaller and smaller until it was the size of a laser on someone's chest. And all these people were surrendering to it, and all it really was just a light. Like, there was no weapon, but you know, it scared them. That big green light, and all of a sudden it zeroes in on your chest, and you're like, yeah, I get it. You know, I thought, man, that's ingenious. Get people to surrender, not even fire a shot. You know, just with a big light.
I wish one of these would talk. I wonder how they're
Yeah.
using them. How are they?
Yeah, they probably don't want to tell you how they're using them, but.
Yeah, I mean, what's the how are they? Yeah, that's more of how are they deploying them?
Yeah.
What's their?
But I respect
Strategy.
it, man. If you can, you know, talk people into not fighting, like, that's even better. You know, I don't want the world to burn. You know, I don't want the world to be on fire and all these countries at war with each other. And I'd rather, you know, have good jobs here, people building shit and selling it around the world, and other countries building their shit and us buying their stuff. And, you know, we should have evolved past this. You know, as a species, we just haven't.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is, because
And how much of it's just about money and contracts?
I think in the end, it's all about money, contracts, and the elitist people in the world that they're the same families, the same people that's been controlling this stuff forever. And, you know, I don't want my kids to die in a stupid war for you know, them to get good stock options and, make a bunch of money. Like, it's just not, it's not a good reason for war for me. And I think a lot of these wars are about money, about power and control,
It's unfortunate.
And I think, the proof in everyone's face right now, whether they want to see it or not, is just the resistance you see about information coming out. And the people resisting that and complaining about it and saying it should be illegal and these people should be thrown in jail, and like, for what? For giving out information? Like,
well, right, because it's detrimental to their narrative is why.
It shows how corrupt and crooked this really is.
Just like you were saying about the left, burning buildings and rioting, and it's okay when they're firebombing federal buildings, and somehow that's
I just
justified. But if someone,
one person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. Tell me the difference. Just depends on what side of the line you're standing on. And that's something I've wrestled with, because, like I said, I went with that flag waving, let's go kick some ass, you don't mess with the USA. And now, you know what I mean? How many of them people were we were in their land. What would we do? What would we do as a populace here if, another country was parachuting into our country? Well, they'd consider us terrorists. We consider ourselves freedom fighters, fighting for our country. So, I don't know. They're questions that we should be asking.
that's not good.
No, it's just the world is not in a good place right now.
I know. I shouldn't say always. I thought you're hyperbolic a lot about these issues, and then the more I look around, I'm like, man, they readjust the definition of a recession. You still have job problems where companies can't find enough people, and you had made the tongue-in-cheek joke that, man, did the rapture already happen? Where did all these people go?
Where did everyone go? You know what I mean? They had my quad. They said, I dropped my quad off at a local mechanic to get repaired. And they said, well, listen, we're a little behind. I said, yeah, I get it. I wasn't an ass about it. I understand. It'll take us probably 8 weeks to look at it, to get to it. And then we'll get it diagnosed and fixed. All right. So, you're looking at maybe 10 weeks. Depending on how hard it is to get the parts. But they said most of the parts they'd be able to get, they're relatively available. So, take my quad for 7 months. 7 months, man. No one has enough workers. Like, where did all these people go? And it just kind of made me I know it was a little tongue in cheek, but like, man, did the rapture happen? Like, where did everybody go? Because, these were all jobs. Like,
I don't know. It makes you wonder how did we lose all these workers, but the homeless rate exploded?
Yeah. It just makes no sense.
You know what I'm saying?
And
there's some weird dynamic that I can't put my finger on. There's some shift.
The world is just a bad place.
How do you have just so many people homeless now, more than we've ever seen?
But there's jobs, like, they're begging people to work. Sign-on bonuses,
Something happened.
Yeah. Something weird. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Signing bonuses, right?
Yeah.
Companies, I'll pay $3,000. Come work for me.
Yeah. They'll pay for your relocation, like all kinds of stuff now.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I said, and then you get all this divide. This constant divide. This constant. We got this committee, and then this, like Tucker released his video, and well, he's irresponsible for doing this, and it's just this divide, the divide,
Keep changing
you can
the definition of words.
You can firebomb a federal building, and you'll get community service, but you broke a window at the Capitol building, we're gonna hold you indefinitely.
Yeah.
With
no trial. You know what I mean?
And I'm not using specific examples here. I'm just kind of.
But there's
talking.
a big, really unfair treatment.
Partially hyperbolic here too, because I don't know specific cases, but on the surface that's how it looks. Yeah. Anyways, did I see?
Oh, what was I gonna say? I don't remember now. It'll pop in.
Probably an hour later.
Yeah, probably after we're done. Eating dinner, and I'll go, oh man, now I remember.
Yeah.
What was it? It was something good too, man. I hate it when your brain fart like that. No, it's all right. I thought I had it. I was like, yeah, go ahead, finish your thought. I'll circle back to it and.
Yeah, it's just disturbing, and then, like I said, then you get the conflict of the war, somehow this side's going to be for it and this side's going to be against it, and this is a dividing line.
Right.
Or it's masks, right?
Yeah.
There's always some kind of dividing line.
Yeah.
Oh, you're wearing a hat that says "Make America Great," so I'm going to punch you in the face for it,
or shoot you in the chest.
It's
that's happened now.
When did it become it's okay that you have your opinion and I have my opinion,
Yeah.
When did it become war lines?
Right. Agree with me or I'm going to kill you, or someone else should kill you and I'm going to laugh about it. You look at, I seen Jeremy from the Quarterly got swatted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, again, like he's been swatted quite a few times. Tim Pool's channel's been swatted, like I think he said a couple days ago, 15 times, plus a bomb threat. Like, why? Just watch a different channel then. What I mean?
It's because they don't want those people's voices getting out there. Because again, they know it's damning.
Yeah, they don't
the
want
truth
to have
is
the
damning to their narrative that's false, right?
Yeah.
They're misleading. And then these people come out here and go, actually, and then they're afraid that that's going to gain momentum. People are going to find out they're lying and their narrative's bullshit.
I just think this turmoil is on purpose, by design, to get people to argue about what's a man, what's a woman, is there really a gender, is there 75 genders? Like, the whole thing, I think, was just made to get people to fight and argue with each other and just not have conversations.
I wonder how much of this is foreign influence, right?
Oh, I think they've shown now
how
that
do we
a lot of
weaken
it.
How do we weaken these people?
When you look at, there was a story I was listening to about Russia, the Soviet Union, before the fall of the Soviet Union, that they bled some of the stuff into our country to weaken us over time, and of course they collapsed eventually, but the poison was already in our bloodstream. And then you look at like TikTok and from China, and the difference in how Chinese use TikTok versus how Americans use it, right? And it's heavily influenced by China, obviously. You got to wonder if it was just to weaken us so that we can get our butt kicked,
Right.
It's interesting times to live in, for sure.
That's yeah, check this out. I don't know if you ever heard this story. Bring it here. Freaking ads. Come on. You see this right here?
Wow, really?
In 2019, 19 of Facebook's top 20 pages for American Christians were run by Eastern European troll farms overseas. Internal documents leaked to MIT.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah.
Because
See what it says? The data shows the vast spread of Facebook misinformation is largely powered by coordinated efforts among foreign professionals working together to spread provocative content in the U.S.
Yeah. This is what we do to other countries, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
This is
I'm just
exactly
saying.
the kinds of stuff we've done to other countries where we wanted their governments to fall. You create a bunch of strife within, weaken their infrastructure. You attack their infrastructure,
Yeah.
You look at our power grid constantly being attacked now. Like, I don't know. I think Americans are silly and they've been duped, I think we've fallen so that we're arguing about a bunch of shit that really doesn't matter. Here, watch the right hand so you're not seeing what the left hand's doing. I think, yeah.
Isn't that crazy though?
Man, 19 out of 20. That's
We're troll farms. So, what else is being manipulated? What other groups are being manipulated that we don't know about?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, put your finger,
I'm telling you, it's not.
put your finger on any hot topic one,
Right.
right?
Pick
And I
one.
guarantee you,
There's some foreign influence in there.
right?
Even Ukraine, like, I'm not gonna blame just the Bidens for being corrupted and involved with that country. I think if the truth came out, I think the majority of our government is probably deeply involved with that country. Whether they're laundering money through it or whatever. It's one of the most corrupt countries in the world, reportedly. So we're gonna send them billions of dollars and not have any accountability. Why? I got to account for what I spend money on.
Right.
Right. And oh God, man, if you hiccup on your taxes by $50, the IRS is going to crawl up your butt. So, but we're just going to get billions, and then what just really bothered me just as an American is that we send all this money over there and we got like natural disasters happening here. Chemical spills, like I seen a report, 43,000 dead animals in Ohio now.
Really?
Reportedly.
How many?
43,000? That's
reported, like people have reported that many. I'm assuming this is domestic and wild.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was domestic and wild. Yeah, it didn't specify, but
no, I hadn't seen that.
That's which I thought would probably be the outcome of this. You'd start seeing lots of dead animals in the woods and lots of people's pets dying. And we don't help those guys there, So don't tell me you're such a caring person because your heart's bleeding for the Ukraine, but you would let this happen.
Yahoo News story. Good job, man.
And you wouldn't care about this. Why? Because it's a blue collar working town that's MAGA country. It's heavily Trump supported. I guess he won this area by leaps and bounds. So no one gives a shit about these people. Really? Where's your compassion? I just think there's better.
This is aquatic animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
I caught another report and I read the headline, but I went past it and then I went back to find it later. It was something about a bunch of dead fish washing up on the beaches in Florida too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I haven't been able to find it again. I haven't had enough time to really, sit down and look. But I kind of wonder, well, was it kind of related to this, or is there something else going on? Like, you know what I mean? Would we blow up another underwater pipeline?
Whatever happened with that?
Oh yeah, you don't hear nothing about that anymore, huh? Once it started to come out, like most likely it was America that did it, which is an act of war. And what the hell are you gonna do when an EMP happens? Or I don't even think it'll be an EMP. What if it's just a virus? Not the one that you can protect yourself with a mask. I'm talking about an electronic digital virus that screws our grid up, and then you can't go and get your double mocha latte from Starbucks anymore. you have people jumping out of windows. And then tell me that this war was that important, you know?
Yeah,
We're playing Russian roulette.
yeah, I forgot. And
So is Russia, and so is China, because they're gonna hurt too. You know what I mean? Like once this pops off, you don't put the lid back on that. Like there's gonna be damage, bad on both sides, and you know who's gonna suffer? The normal people in Russia who are not our enemies, the normal people in China who are not our enemies, and the normal people here who should not be our enemies, right? You know?
Right.
We're all the ones that's going to suffer. We're the ones that don't have the bomb shelters and the bunkers with, 20 years worth of food and,
Right.
a store that's there that, has the latest fashions and, filtered water. I don't have a nuclear bunker.
Think about that one guy in Ohio that was by East Palestine that wasn't a prepper, though, that has an underground bunker with air filtration.
Mhm.
Think about that guy. He's probably like, I knew it.
Yep. I said it. Everyone said I was crazy.
Sitting in his bunker eating ramen.
Yeah.
Drinking his fresh water with his air filtered.
Yeah.
That one guy. There had to have been one, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm
had to
sure.
have been.
Sure.
Just statistically, right? Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Man, you almost have to think there's one guy.
Yeah. It's probably still in this bunker right now.
Maybe not even there. Maybe somewhere in the area, or the vicinity that was affected, though. Yeah, you have to think there's one guy.
But to me, I just haven't seen a good justification why to risk, destroying the earth. Like, you guys are the ones that are complaining all the time about global warming and this and that, but you're willing to roll the dice on a nuclear holocaust. I mean, I'm sure that'll be good for the environment. Even precision nuclear strikes, right? Like, not straight up apocalyptic, destroy the entire planet, but what if you just destroy strategic cities around the world?
How does that psychologically affect the people around the world? Now, what kind of laws get passed, right?
Right.
We saw what happened after 9/11, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when something like that happens?
And
what kind of laws, what kind of regulations, what kind of...
Look what they did after Pearl Harbor, right?
Yeah.
Round up Japanese citizens, throw them in cages, right? Like, this isn't a game, I mean, I guess it is. It's being played like a game, right? Like, I don't know. I just think, they're poking the bear. We're poking the bear. Everyone's poking the goddamn bear. But sooner or later, someone's gonna get bit. And I think once it would spread the misery around, which maybe in the end that's really what they want anyways. Because who takes control? The government just gets more control in those situations. But anyone that thinks like this war escalates and it's good for everybody somehow, like I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see the positive outcome of it. No. I see a lot of negative, a lot of hurt, pain, and misery. Personally, I like being able to go to the store and buy beef, right? Or chicken, or pork, or fresh vegetables, right? I don't want to get in a bread line for some moldy cheese and government bread and cricket powder. Like, I don't want my life to be that way. I don't want my kids' lives to be that way. I have a youngster that's got a whole childhood ahead of him. Like, I hope it's a good one. I want it to be.
Yeah, I hear you. It's scary times, when you have people making these decisions that we don't get any input in, right?
Yeah, we just don't get to have any say-so in it. Mm-hmm. And that's
I guess you in theory you elected these officials, so that's your voice, right?
Yeah.
But
they re-elected Mitch McConnell, right? It's about 100 years old too. Like, I'm very much looking forward to these people not being in our government anymore, and just new people. Term limits, man. Come on.
Maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's just a struggle of retaining power. I don't know.
What? It's got to be. Think about this. You know what? most of the adults, when I was a kid growing up, most of the adults I knew, like, they had the plan, right? They're going to work, they're going to, their pension, they're 62, they're going to retire and, go fishing every day. Who in the mother F wants to be 92 years old and still working full time?
I don't know.
Why would you not? You have, like, you're a millionaire. Like, you can go have fun. Why do you want to, like, they just cannot let go of the power?
It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't compute in my brain why you want to be in your 80s still arguing on the floor of Congress and Senate.
Give it off to someone else and go hang out on the yacht,
I don't understand the
Go spend time with your family. Like
I never had that kind of power either, so I don't know. I don't know how it changes you.
I do remember what I was going to say.
Maybe they go into politics with the intent of change and making life better, and then the money starts flowing in, and then someone owns you. And
I believe a lot of those people that I complain about, when they started, probably did have good intentions. What is it? The road to hell is paved and with good intentions. I know what I was going to tell you was General Motors. You see that? What they're doing? Yeah, they're getting rid of a lot of their salary people, buying them out to get rid of them, preparing for their electric car transition. They want to be completely transitioned. I think it's by 2035. They're not doing combustible engines anymore. All battery-powered electric vehicles.
So what
they're giving these guys?
What does getting rid of them have to do with electric?
Saving, because they're going to save a bunch of money, because they gotta invest real heavy in this. Like, they gotta build new battery plants, and this is the thing about electric vehicles that I kept arguing about. Like, this actually might not be as environmentally friendly as we were led to believe. There's a lot of precious metals that are hard to get, that from my understanding, they're digging giant holes into the earth to mine.
A lot of them by hand, right?
Yeah,
that was
right.
Pretty awakening for me. I remember you telling me that, and I'm like, man, I don't know, like, if it leads to something better, but I had no idea the environmental impact and the suffering of people.
Slaves, man, like, straight up the way it was in ancient Rome and Egypt, and
that's how it sounds anyways. I mean, I haven't
get down in the mine and get that ore.
Yeah, with your hands.
Yeah, like, it's pretty terrible. But and you've seen it. Like, I love Ian from Tim Pool, man, because he'll bring it up, and he calls himself out, like, the slaves that are used around the world to build an iPhone.
Yeah.
But he owns one.
Yeah.
And he uses the technology, and so do we. We're all part of the problem. I just wish there was a way that we could get this kind of stuff that benefited humanity, not just the elitist, but the guy in the mine, that he had good equipment and it would be a good job and he could feed his family, or she could feed her family doing that work.
And have good benefits.
And have benefits and health care, and, like,
work just a normal shift, not have to be there for 16 or 20 hours just for $1.
Yeah.
Right?
We should be past this as a species, but like I said, man, people, they just don't change. We are the same as we've always been. It just blows my mind sometimes. I would have.
Then the audacity.
I was very naive when I was younger, because I thought we were better. We're way past that. No, we're not.
Are we some dinner?
Yeah, that sounds good, man. I'm kind of hungry. We got an hour in. I'm sure people are probably sick of listening to us.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, so thanks, guys.
Be kind.